This Sunday is the third Sunday of Advent, so we're 3/4 of the way through the season as we make our way to Bethlehem and the nativity scene. And the third Sunday in Advent, if you have noticed on Advent wreaths, often the candles are blue, except for that third one, which is a rose color, and it's Laetare Sunday, and that comes from the first word of the Latin introit for the third Sunday in Advent. And we'll be turning our eyes on the Virgin Mary and honoring her with our readings and our music this week. And so we'll have a lot of things that we'll talk about the Annunciation or talk about her visit with Elizabeth, and of course a lot of great music that is revolved around Mary as well. So we'll come in singing that wonderful Basque carol, the Angel Gabriel. Wonderful carol, and of that genre. It's very simple in its harmonic structure, and yet it has that really wonderful melody, and it tells the entire Annunciation story over those 4 verses. The choir will be singing a couple of also Marian-themed things at the offertory. They'll be singing a fairly new piece by the Norwegian composer Ola Yelo, which is a setting in English of A Spotless Rose, and it's using a Scandinavian folk tune and has a lot of pep to it. And at the communion, the choir will be singing a piece by the English composer Benjamin Britten, A Hymn to the Virgin. And the text is macaronic, meaning that it has both English and Latin in it. It has 2 languages that coexist. And the way Britten did this is that he has the full choir singing the English portions and a solo quartet answering the Latin phrase by phrase. So the full choir comes in singing "Of One That Is So Fair and Bright," and then the quartet responds, "Velut Maris Stella." And the 2 ensembles alternate like that throughout the whole piece, although close to the end they start to sing a little bit more overlapping. It's an interesting piece from a very young Benjamin Britten. Britten was born in 1913 on St. Cecilia's Day, the patron saint of music, and he wrote this piece when he was 16 years old. He was going to a boarding school at the time, about an hour drive or so from his family home. And he was sick and was in the school infirmary, and to pass the time, he didn't have any staff paper handy, so he actually had to write on blank paper. He had to write his own staves to make the music notation, but he wrote this in an afternoon while convalescing in the school infirmary. And then at the end of the service, we will go out not so much with something related to the Virgin Mary, but something more just in a general Advent feel. Rejoice, rejoice, believers, and let your lights appear. A very triumphant text that comes from the Latin tradition, although singing, of course, in a translation that was done in the 19th century. And in our hymnal, it is paired with this wonderful Welsh melody, Llangollen. And like so many of these Welsh tunes, it's in a minor mode, and yet it is unmistakably jubilant, joyous, and full of optimism. So we hope that as you're making your final preparations as we get on towards Christmas, that you will join us here at St. John's for Laetare Sunday, remembering that you can always join us at 8 o'clock in the chapel for our Rite 1 service, at 10:30 in the church with choir for Rite 2, and that is also available on Channel 12 and streaming on our YouTube channel.